Can you see any in there?
Sure, look, there's one there.
Let's see.
Yeah, look, there's probably 100 of them just in that handful of sand, and those
it's amazing.
Those are all alive.
Almost
but
many.
Those are the bar clams that.
What do they call them?
Bar clams.
Bar clams.
They get to be that long.
How long do they get to be?
Full grown. Probably that long.
Some would use the opportunity to take some harmless digs at poor old Jack.
Oh yeah, I went to borrow the clippers from this fellow. The fellow said, I'm going to use them myself. And he said, you've got all week to use them. He said, my poor Flo. He said, you've been working all week and she just got tomorrow off. And it's the only day she can get to use them.
That's right.
The fellow said, he looked at the way he looked, you know, well, put that look in his eyes. And he went in and got them for me. Caps is the gall of some people.
Yeah, that's Andy for you. He sees things from a particularly distorted perspective, doesn't he? But he's a lot of laughs. Flo must be a godsend.
This fellow's not entirely like that, but there's a lot of fellas close to it.
But Jack got at least one thing right. Back in 1989, long before Cousin Laurie became a professional golfer, he quite rightly predicted she'd enjoy future fortune on the pro circuit.
Hi, Laurie. How are you?
Good.
You came together with your dad, did you?
No.
You came independently? You have your own vehicle, do you? Your own mode of transportation?
Oh no, I came here with Dan. I'm waiting to get Mom's car so I can go to Cavendish.
What are you going to do with Cavendish?
Party.
You're going to party there, are you?
Yes.
That's bad for the soul, you know.
Pardon me?
Bad for the soul. Better for the soul to walk around in sackcloth and ashes. Not to party.
Well, I don't know about your soul.
You don't care much about the soul?
Good party.
I see. No, it's your spirit that needs a good party, not your soul. Keeps your spirits up to party. Bad for the soul, though, I guarantee it.
Laurie came second in Canada, you know.
Second in what?
Golfing.
What category?
That was last year, was it, Laurie?
Yeah.
What category was that?
Amateur.
Amateur
Winner.
women? No kidding. Not junior or anything like that? Oh, I guess you are definitely on your way then. You can do that well.
I'll be hitting you up for a few dollars sometime.
I expect that I'll be hitting you up for a few dollars if you're successful. Quite the reverse. Think of me when you start making your millions on the circuit.
As far as I know, though, he has yet to follow through on the loan request. Now that conversation took place at a family get-together. Cassie Brown's third birthday party, if I don't miss my guess. There were many of them. The big one, including all sorts of strange faces, was the MacDonald family reunion of 1991.
There's the family photo dating back to the gentleman that was born on boat in 1841. There he is, stern and harassed, as no doubt he was. Cassie? There we go, nice full funnel. That's it, give us a chuckle.
I guess I'll just wait till he comes and then we'll go with you, okay?
I think he thinks it's some sort of a growth on his daddy's shoulder.
In the memento section we had, but it is certainly an honor to be here today and to be able to read these portions of scripture out of this family Bible. Verse number 1 says, "And go over this Jordan, thou and all the people, unto the land which I gave thee, even to the children of Israel. Every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon."
But there were lots of others, more modest in scale, involving the more immediate family. A group that continues to multiply, becoming less and less immediate, more and more extended as the years go by.
Just an added bonus.
I got the different colors.
And they had said 2 or 3 days, just they said 8 o'clock.
So why not pouring them in?
Eat one of those pictures up.
I like your pants, Addie. They're very colorful.
Yes. They're that dad.
We got those down in Florida.
Ever since I lost,
Well, I got the top. You pull them over and the tape there that pulls them in.
Kimmy's making fun of right out of that.
Well, I heard of it.
Ketchup,
Yeah, ketchup too, I guess.
The Happy Chef. Oh, sorry.
Yes, it's me. Got the wieners on here. Do you want me to put your wiener on there too, Dan?
You have a pocket?
Back and forth, so.
At that age, a little older, they get along themselves.
You don't have a pocket, sure.
I know the words.
There's Lori.
Christian!
Grabbing the focus here, but that's okay. We'll carry on.
I can't go.
Looks like all of them.
Yeah, sell the practice, sell the
Say
whole.
hi to
The whole
this
kit and
one.
caboodle. That should be about a 0.5% deposit.
Say hi to this one.
Put into the Coke and everything, 68 million. You know, for a cup.
Oh, Lord.
Oh.
Give me candy. That
How about that, Christy? I see.
and that was to give her that. And look at that. I'm an
Angel.
Hey, he's an angel. Oliver.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm a sweet angel.
No. You want this? Yeah, I found another.
Where are you away now, Jack? Linda, where's our dog? Is he swell?
Color every day. White, red.
So any queries, whatever, about Fredericton, Tony is a good guy to talk
Is
to.
there a good? This is probably better at a business time, like on Friday. Well, every time that I've ever been at a party with anybody with a blowtorch.
If this becomes a movie,
blades.
I want a percentage of the
I've got a
residuals.
girlfriend that likes.
You're doing fine, Kenny. All the better to siphon.
Digested them, and then threw them up again.
No, I don't think you did.
I know.
You just turned him into a bit of a puree, that's all.
Christy doesn't want him to get under the deck
No.
because he might get stuck.
Yep.
Can I show you something?
Yeah.
Can you go and film, Mommy? Go and film, Mommy. Mommy, go down.
And
Go down.
Again. Yeah, I just throw it in there, the food, and the wine is cold.
Do you try to get the rings?
Oh, get something big. Your girls aren't coming, are they?
There's a woman
no, it was actually down there.
It's like they bread.
Imagine Peter.
In 2 years' time, when you're drinking beer, you and I'll have some really intelligent conversations.
I wouldn't be drinking beer in 2 years' time.
How old are you now?
I'm 14.
14? No, well, if I'm still around in 3 or 4 years.
Jack was drinking beer when he was 6. I know you were.
I'm gonna get a taste of you!
But if you were moving to Canada, you might want to study Canadian history or American history or world history or Chinese history.
The writers of the epistle, Matthew.
Marilyn.
Matthew.
Talking to Todd. There's Todd.
Judy, what's your Bible? Matthew.
Water in, and you put a charcoal over top of it, just try and keep.
Nothing I know of Matthew, but I know them all.
Absolutely.
How are you? What are you up to?
Nothing.
Can't believe that.
That's good stuff.
I'll keep you around. What do you mean with that? Heels I run around in daily.
Jackie? That looks like Jackie drinking that. Bernie giving. I thought that place didn't get me.
Anybody want a hot dog?
Open that.
It's his wine, he says specifically like it.
I didn't taste it at all.
He says it must be
How did you discover that? You must have tasted wine.
He said it must be cooking on there or something like that.
So in there. Oh, he just. Yeah, it wasn't.
Ever watch some lobster?
It's just a hair thing. What's that?
You get the interest when I said hot dog, nobody looked. Lobster dog.
No, we just heard you talking.
86 years old. 86 years young.
Rocket. And the rocket could just fight and fight.
Hot dog. What do you like, hot dog or hamburger?
This is old John.
Old John, not young. Oh, young John. Quite a goal.
You want to have some salad? Thanks, Mom.
Yeah. Just the.
That could have very, that could have very easily been 3-2 right there. The 2 goals. A little bit. So.
Are you sure there's nothing like this there?
How was your trip? And I picked good.
Hello, Dan.
Today.
Oh, that's
Yeah, when I
nice.
was here 2 years ago.
That's Samantha and Madison, the best of friends. Best of friends.
Yeah.
Oh, you're red. Oh, you're silly. Oh, you're silly. Oh, you're silly. Sam. But I'm all tired out, for God's sake.
A formal invitation wasn't needed for the kids to get together. Matthew would have been no more than 3 when he and Cassie would swing together, Cassie assuming the upside down position.
Do you have to go to the bathroom, Matthew?
Yeah. Can't just stay right there.
When the kids reached a certain age, round about 10, Ghost in the Graveyard became a favorite, and stayed that way for a few years.
Here I come. Who's playing? Everyone except for me.
And me. Hello. Hello. Oh, shoot.
Look out! No, that's the wrong post.
What? What is this?
Well, we caught Roy Gary.
Caught my after you.
Fast slow, Oliver. Fast slow.
Slow.
Fast, good, Bar.
80 fast.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Slide. Look at that. Humphrey.
Because I meant to. Humphrey.
Last time you did, you fell on your butt.
Humphrey.
Allie's the only one that.
Hurry, you.
Everybody guard the base.
Yeah, guard the base. Hi, Daddy. Hi, Daddy.
Make it so she can.
No, hurry.
But the kids were also capable of some fairly imaginative hijinks, particularly during that brief age range when they seemed totally oblivious to personal embarrassment. Like the time they decided to dress up in Andrea's clothes, letting that simple artifice take them where it would. Their enthusiasm said it all. They clearly sensed that they were on to a somewhat provocative winner. Spencer, particularly, warmed up to the concept.
Do you like it?
Let's walk around Keppoch.
It's lovely.
Don't you love my new style?
I want to wear those bell bottoms, Andrea.
I want to be a pretty.
Let's take them in here. I'm wearing those.
Do you want brown bells?
I don't care. Guys, come here.
Bye, my loving fans!
Those would.
No way, I'll wear it.
I'll just model underwear. Hold on, I have my shorts.
Oh, you get a huge butt crack with these. Look at the butt crack.
Where's my shirt? You suck, John.
You kept it going till the
He has it. Do the market. Now do it.
I'm heavy.
As for Matthew, he always had his belly dance, something he'd trot out when things got slow.
I can't see it because your shirt's there. Your shirt. There we go. That's some belly dance.
Now, if we fast forward a couple of years, we see the kids have adopted an entirely different way of passing time. Looked at strictly as a spectator sport, there's no question this more sedate recreational activity lacked the creative flamboyance of the cross-dressing episode. During the in-between year, Spencer had entertained us with a lively can-can dance.
You idiot. Okay.
And with that, the spontaneous thespian activities more or less shut down. The various cottages gave everybody an opportunity to visit, more often than not unannounced. A routine practice pretty much relegated to the summer season. Kim still had her childhood friends, Rose still on the island, the others living away. Shannon, Jocelyn, Janice, and Helen managed to make it back to the island from time to time, but not always at the same time. They'd spread a blanket on the grass and sit and chat for hours. When Rose was still together with her first husband, Rose's stepdaughter, Robin, would be a frequent visitor. I remember her as a sweet, considerate girl who was very good with Matthew. And hard though it may be to get your head around, Jack had friends on the island from an earlier time, too. Back in the late 60s, many years before he had met Kim, Jack was living in Dawson Creek in northeastern BC. Although he only lived in Dawson Creek just short of a year and a half, it was long enough to get to know Jim Mulligan from Prince Edward Island. Jim showed up shortly after Jack moved there and took lodgings in the same boarding house as Jack. Not long afterwards, Jim's fiancée, Joan, arrived, and the marriage soon followed. After they set up house, Jack would be a frequent visitor to the Mulligan household, sticking around for dinner more often than not. All too soon, Jack had to relocate to Terrace in northwestern BC, thereafter losing touch with the Mulligans. 12 years passed. By 1980, Jack had married, and since it was the summer vacation, was in PEI, together with Kim and Andrea, born that same year. Jack was visiting the local bank when he heard someone, an employee behind the counter, querying his identity. He didn't need to look up. Jack knew that the disembodied voice belonged to Joan Mulligan. Joan told him that not all that long ago, they had left Dawson Creek to return to the old PEI homestead. And from that summer forward, there would be an annual get-together with Joan, Lowell, and their daughter Marlene. It turns out that before Jim left the island, he was known as Lowell, and now that he had returned, it was Lowell again. Since Lowell's passing, Jack and Kim continued to see Joan and Marlene in the summer, except for those few times when Joan happens to be away from the island herself.
No, that's okay, but you can volunteer anything you'd like.
Small world.
Okay.
As the 19 grandkids grow up, liaisons and marriages, they come and go. As for the weddings, Jack, Kim, and the family were there for some, absent for others. To give you a taste, they were around for Todd and Christy's and Pete and Layla's. Pete and Christy belonged to Judy and Bill. Judy is Kim's sister. Judy and Kim are two of 6 children born to Addie and Olave. And that's it for me for genealogy. If anyone from the family should happen to be watching these chronicles, a few years down the road, after Jack and his contemporaries have long since become distant memories, they'll have to figure out what's what on their lonesome. For all I know, family watching right now might be challenged on the identification front. I know that Jack would have trouble. And by the way, since there's another family member called Jack, I'd better make sure everyone knows the difference. The other Jack would surely want to keep that straight. And what better way than to show the exchange that took place between Matthew, Allison, and the other Jack himself at the shower for Christy and Todd. It had to do with clarifying the interchange between Jack and John, the one I alluded to at the start.
When my dad died, I became Jack. Different.
Why is that? 'Cause your dad's name was John?
No, my dad's name was Jack.
Jack.
Oh, I see.
But his actual name was John.
John.
He was
It's like
John
a Christian
James.
name versus
But
your
that
given
was
name.
that was his nickname.
Or your given name, yeah.
But when I grew up in my family, and with Marilyn, and with the kids, but the kids have switched. When my dad passed, well, you've always known me as, well, in the family, John, but outside the family, everyone
If someone
called
asks me
Jack.
who is my father,
Yeah.
I say Jack King.
Yeah, exactly. Because they don't know John King.
Jack
John was the
Jack
lover,
is a
Jack
nickname
was the
for
fighter.
John. In our generation, Jack is a given name. In his father's generation, you were named John, and they tagged you
What
Jack,
would
like
you
it was
call
like
me? What's my name?
Richard and Dick.
Yeah, see, there you go.
You know what I mean?
And we'll close this segment with some additional footage from the two weddings. First, since it came first, Pete and Layla's. Finally, Todd and Christy's.
Marriage is a nominal estate. It was instituted by God, sanctioned and honored by the presence of the Lord Jesus Christ at the wedding feast in Cana of Galilee, and set forth by his apostle as a symbol of the mystical union between Christ and his church. Peter, will you have this woman to be your wife, to live together after God's ordinance in the holy estate of matrimony? Will you love her, comfort her, honor and keep her in sickness and in health, and faithfully keep you to her alone as long as you both shall live? Will you love him, comfort him, honor and keep him in sickness and in health, and faithfully keep you to him alone as long as you both shall live? In this particular wedding, what we're going to do is we're going to do several customs that are found in Venezuela. And the first is the exchange of coins. And we're going to do this first of all before we do the rings. I give you this ring as the token and pledge of the covenant now made present unto you the bride and groom, Mr. and Mrs. Peter Lapp.
She's watching you.
She wants to see you get your picture taken.
Here, Morgan, Cody.
Welcome. We're all nuts. Good luck surviving.
Okay, see. I'm your friend. No, let's see how fun this is. We're a team. Come on, hurry up. And 1, 2, 3, go. Don't go
Thank you very much. So nice.
I was gonna miss the day because I thought I would stay later. Welcome to the inside. Hi, I'm Brenda. Nice to meet you. Brenda. First time I chased her. She's probably taking her
Well, Cody was asking me, why don't you buy one? I said, there's only the odd thing that you would wear one for.
Yeah. I can't get into my suit anymore. I'm too fat. I use the word portly, though. It sounds a little better. Is it much relieved to you?
You did a big job.
Now hang on, buddy. I want an even better spot for you.
Now you'll note that Mary Lynn is emceeing both receptions. You will also note that she appears happy to be of service, seems perfectly comfortable in the role. But it's not just that she defaults as the family spokesperson. She also has a well-deserved reputation as a name giver. The eldest of the 4 Kane girls, the eldest of all 19 grandchildren, Mary Lynn was the first to spend time in the company of the grandparents, Addie and Olave. And this is what we have been told. Try as she might, the infant Mary Lynn could not get her tongue around the appellation Gramps. Short, of course, for Grandpa. What came out instead sounded like Bamps. And from that day forward, Addie was known to the family as Bamps. After enjoying a complete and fulfilling life, Bamps passed on in the year 2000 at the age of 81. Thankfully, as these chronicles draw to a close, Grandma Olave is still with us, 86 years old and counting. And what more fitting way to end the chronicles than with excerpts from a parade? To be more specific, the 1991 Charlottetown Gold Cup and Saucer Parade. After all, isn't that how one wag once described life? As a parade.